limited food choices in the Midwest of Ohio at the time, in the 60s, 40s, 50s. She's looking at what books are out there to become a foodie. And there's nothing. So teaching chefs was very unique. And we called it the Foodie Sisters Merit Badge Handbook. And then we sent it out to publishers. And nobody took it up.
Landing, like how did you literally land on mango and coconut? The most shocking information that
about coconut?
Yeah, about coconut.
In World War II, that if they ended up on an island, like really, when was it going to happen? They could survive if they found coconuts.
If they find a coconut.
More people eat mango than eat apple in literature, and not in U.S. literature, not British literature, not European literature, but diaspora literature. That right now there's 40 books in print with mango in the title because people in my classroom are tasting things and laughing and enjoying the history class. One of his quotes that I'm using is, "Wait for the season as the mango tree waits."
Oh, yeah. The next show by Naghma. Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Next Show by Naghma. And today with me, I have somebody who talks a lot about history, not just history, there's a lot more into it. So there is this very interesting series that has been released, which is called as the Edible Series. And today with me, I have the co-author who's written about mango, a global history, and coconut, a global history. Think about it. We are talking about the changes in economy, political, cultural, religious, a lot of things completely through a historical lens, but keeping a food item in focus. With me today, I have Constance, today dearly known as Connie. Hi, Connie. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful here in India.
Definitely. So how has it been? How long have you literally been in India now?
Oh, a day. One day. But we have been in India many times over the years. But I haven't been back to Delhi in a while, so this is a real treat. A real treat.
Interesting. Given that you've written about items that are mainly seen in India, I mean, of course, other places in the South Asia as well, which is your favorite place in India?
Favorite place in India? Well, I have to go with Kerala because...
Oh, is it because I'm from Kerala?
She's from there. She's from there. But also it's a place that I visit very often when I lecture on cruise ships, which is fun now as I'm retired.
Oh, that's
so it's every year or so we'll sail into Kerala and have a nice stay there. But I got a chance to research while I'm visiting and lecturing. So it's a kind of perfect world for me.
It is indeed. So I really need to know this because your life seems to be extremely adventurous and interesting for me. Like when I'm looking at it as an outsider, what I get to know is that you're traveling, you're cruising across the world, you're in the ship, you're teaching, and you're reaching different countries across different places. People are paying you to do that, and you're having the time of your life, and you also have your husband along with you. I really need to do, what do you do now? How do you do it?
Well, you have to get through the 30 years of teaching at university.
Oh, you have to do that.
You have to have some expertise. And I do urge my colleagues at the university, which they have all kinds of expertise. And then they retire and they kind of go off into sadness, it seems to me. And I think one of the most wonderful things I get to do is lecture. So I do want to tell you a little bit about how we started doing these books.
Yes, please.
Because I'm actually an art historian by training. And that really doesn't say food right away, does it?
Exactly.
Or food history. But we had a chance to, we were living in Singapore at the time, and it was a stint there with my husband's work. So we were there from 2008 to 2012, something like that. But at the time, my sister is also an academic. She's a scientist, so she's very yin and yang to me. I'm a cultural historian. She's a scientist. She had an opportunity to do a Fulbright in Thailand.
Oh, that's really nice.
And we both grew up in a very small town in the Midwest of the United States, where there's a couple brands we would eat. We ate Campbell's soup, and we ate macaroni and cheese from Kraft. Right? So very limited food choices in the Midwest of Ohio at the time, in the 60s, 40s, 50s. So she had this opportunity to be in Thailand. And she thought, this is the time. She's already 60.
Oh, it's
so
not
young. And she's still only eating, grilled cheese sandwiches and tomato soup. And she says, it's time for me to become a foodie.
Oh, wow.
I need to do this. And, as academics, one of the things you do when you're looking at a new topic to study or to teach is you look at all the research that's out there and what are the books that are written. And so I said, well, she's talking to me in Singapore. She's in Ohio. And she's looking at what books are out there to become a foodie. And there's nothing. Which is interesting for all of you out there. There's nobody writing a book, at least in U.S. publishing, in English, on how to become a foodie. I mean, we have TV shows, we have a lot of things, but there was nobody doing that. And she thought, well, this is a good thing to do. So why don't we think about doing it together? Because I'm in Singapore and I'm doing some things. At the time, I had a chance to teach at the CIA. Do you know that, what the CIA is?
What is the CIA?
Not the spies.
That's what came into my mind.
Wow.
Obviously, that's the reason why I asked. I'm asking if it's not the CIA that I'm thinking of, right?
No, it's the Culinary Institute of America.
Okay, yes.
The most important restaurant and cook chef training school.
Definitely.
And it's very prestigious. And they wanted to open a campus in Singapore. It's not very easy to be, as a spouse, and with my husband's job, to get work papers. And when you're the spouse, the trailing spouse, they call it, which is a funny term. Trailing spouses. Anyway, but they needed someone to teach cultural history to chefs.
And that's interesting.
Chefs need it more than anybody because they're probably going to be in a restaurant where you may have Mexican food, you may have Thai food. So the idea of expanding their idea about the cultures of these countries. So I was teaching there because there were any Singaporeans qualified to do cultural history, and I had that experience. So I'm doing cultural history in Singapore. And there's a lot of projects I was asking the young chefs to do, and it was experimenting with different cultural foods and how important they might be at some point. Also display. We talked a little bit earlier, you and I, about the idea of plating and beauty and making beautiful. So it fit with my skill set to show chefs how to plate food as they would in Mexico or as they would in Thailand. So it was a whole lot of different factors that I had never, ever taught before because I teach in a regular university at Pennsylvania State University. It's massive. And you teach a regular lecture class on Asian art. So teaching chefs was very unique, and teaching them how to express culture through food was just a whole new world.
It is indeed.
Totally new world for me. And again, to my listeners, it's really interesting to think in your own retirements, because that's where I'm at, what you can do that might be different but still related. And one of the things I always tell people, think about writing a book. And everybody goes like, maybe I write in my field if I'm an academic. But I think it keeps you being an interesting person. People are interested in you if you're writing a book. Even if you're not. I say, just tell people you are. And you're more interesting.
That's true.
You can just say, I'm writing a book on some obscure topic like mango or coconut. You can write a book on something that you love. Or say you are, and collect data, collect information, and one day, before you die, you might write this book. Anyway, that's kind of what I was thinking.
That's true.
So I say that I've got this opportunity working with these young chefs, and Mary has this opportunity doing a Fulbright, and she has to learn to eat in Thailand, and we're thinking about how to become foodies. Which we weren't at the time. We weren't particularly interested in. We're both again 60. So this is a new venture. And we're looking at the ways to learn about food. And one of the things you can do, obviously, is cook it. And so she likes the cooking part way more than I do. I like the research more than she. But we created a whole series of activities. And we called the book, I think you have Girl Scouts here. Do you have Girl Scouts?
We do.
All right.
We do.
And you earn badges, right? Were you a Girl Scout?
I was during my school time.
Okay.
So we call it the Red Cross. So we have the NCC and it's called the Red Cross, but it's similar to the
Similar. Okay, so you earn badges. And you would pick a topic that you liked to do the badge in that topic, right? So we thought, why don't we create a book and we called it the Foodie Sisters Merit Badge Handbook.
Huh.
And the idea was you would have badges like food and politics, food and history.
Oh my God.
I mean, we're different, not the standard things, where you would have to cook chicken in 4 different countries' ways. Or, and so you would learn about cultures while you were learning about food. And you were learning about each topic. And one of the things we both liked, and a lot of academics liked, the idea of working on a particular project in depth, and then giving it up and doing the next thing.
Of course.
Writing a new book,
Okay.
right? And so we thought a series of badges, which were different topics, and even these were adult badges, so food and sex.
Yeah.
We had food in different forms, and it was a fun project. We did it, and we loved it, and we still have it.
Okay.
And then we sent it out to publishers,
Okay.
and nobody took it up, which is so sad.
Yeah, well, that's so interesting.
Yeah, like it was so interesting.
Yeah, it is.
So we may still, out there, if anyone knows a publisher that wants to do that.
Yeah.
But we really wanted it to have badges, like the Girl Scouts. And we wanted the badges to be refrigerator magnets.
Nice.
So it needed to be a publisher, in our mind anyway, that would have the badges, or you could, now I guess you could get them on the internet. This was a while back.
Yeah,
you could order your badges.
You can literally do that.
But the idea is having them displayed like the Girl Scouts did.
Yeah.
So that project we loved. And in the course of sending it to a few publishers, Reaction, which is a lovely little publisher in London, said, we have this series, and the level that you write, which is pitched not down or up. It's not too complicated, but it's also not too simplified. Is a good level for our series.
Yeah.
And so would you like to write a book in that series? So it wasn't brand new. They already had maybe 50 books.
Yeah, they already had a lot of books by then.
So we thought, what do we do? Because most of the milk, cheese, hamburger, a lot of the basic ones are done. But one of the things that my sister was also liked gardening. So she liked the idea of doing edible flowers. So her first book was edible flowers. And that was lovely because we realized that we can travel everywhere and anywhere for that book.
In the name of research.
And it was the name of research, exactly. And it's also so important to this series that you cover the world. And edible flowers are everywhere. I mean, there's every part of the world has some sort of edible flowers. So we had a lot of fun with this. And she came out and did her Fulbright. And I went to Thailand a number of times, and we traveled around and started the research on that book. And it's just so much fun to work together. And we had never really worked on a project because she's a scientist. She's actually, her field is toxicology.
Okay.
Poisons.
Okay.
And that's
completely different.
It's completely different.
You're talking about edible flowers.
And she's a scientist about it. So she has a different skill set.
Yeah.
And she has a different way of looking at things. So she was looking at toxins and worked for the government for a while. And what she was doing in Thailand was developing a graduate program for public safety.
Okay.
Anyway, so she had a legitimate goal for her portion of time there. And, I brought a totally different skill set. So we went and visited there. And anyway, we had a really good time with edible flowers. And we wanted to keep going. And so we pitched a couple other ideas. So I think... first they asked us to do cherry in a different series. The publisher has a series that's botanical, and the entire book is about one plant and its history. So bamboo and all the things about bamboo. So it's a very interesting series too. But I'm not really a botanist, but we made it work. And so we did cherry. And then we thought, we really like this. And it's a really wonderful thing to do. You meet so many people. It gives you an excuse to travel. And, you can put your own spin on it because I think one of the things we wanted to talk about was the stories. And you have lots of stories to tell.
A lot of stories.
A lot of stories. And you can go anywhere and get stories and interview people. So it had so many things going for it, this series. And I do recommend, if you're out there thinking about you wanting to write a book, work with your sister. Or work with someone that...
people do tell that you should at least once in your lifetime, take time out and travel with your sibling.
Absolutely.
You've done that, and books came out of it.
Yes.
But how did you ended up landing? How did you literally land on mango and coconut?
Both of them were ones that no one had done. And now by the time we were getting to that after cherry, there were many, many people. And it's an interesting series for a starter writer. as us, as we were. So I think it was very attractive to authors that were also cooks. They didn't have to be this important author. You could just write about what you knew about milk or cheese or whatever. So I think it was a very popular series, and we had to find something that wasn't done. And we were looking for something with a story. Okay. And so with coconut, there was no coconut groves except for in the small areas of the U.S. So it really was an interesting topic because my mother was not much of a cook, but she left us three recipes, more or less, you'd call. And I think we have all three in there. There was a coconut pie, a toasted coconut pie, which is lovely. Turns out we found the history of that pie. And then there was ambrosia. Do you know ambrosia? Yeah. It's a sort of salad, sweet salad. And it has coconut in it. It has coconut in it. And then the third thing, how she left things which has coconut in it coming from a place that don't really grow coconut. No, they don't grow coconut. And we have stores in the U.S. called dollar stores. Do you have something like that here? Very inexpensive. Everything in the store is $1. And you can buy bags of coconut in Ohio for $1. And that's one of the things I like to do with each of the books I'm working on. I come up with a topic that I can then create a paper around to go to an academic conference. Because I really do like to stay in the academic field. Academic part of it. So I was looking with coconut, and I found some for mango as well. I can write the paper and give a presentation at a conference on the value of coconut because it's so valueless and so important. It was a very interesting topic. I was researching why could she get a bag of coconut in Ohio for $1? Why does that economically made any sense? Anyway, so there's things that draw out of the research besides what we're doing. And so coconut was something that we kind of tasted all our lives as little girls. And we thought, okay, this is something we know. And it gave us a chance. Her stepson married a Vietnamese young woman, and she knew coconut. We learned about it and spent time in Philippines. We spent time in Bali. And so it was a wonderful place to visit. It was definitely. Places that grow coconut are really amazing. That's true. But as a food item, let's say, for example, if you're talking about coconut, now coconut is something that is, yes, of course, a food item, but it also has a lot of cultural as well as religious values, because especially in India, we literally use it. It's part of our rituals. Like we don't do any Hindu rituals in, even in North India for that matter, but especially in South India, no rituals are complete without a coconut. It's part of any deity worship that we do in a temple. Coconut is part of it. So it's and my mother did not know that. Exactly. So we learned so much. How did your research go? What was the most shocking information that about coconut? Yeah, about coconut. Coconut. Actually, its nickname is the Swiss Army knife. Oh yeah, right. Yes. You can do everything. You can do everything. You can build a house with coconut. Definitely. You can eat it. You can survive on it. Yes. There's a story we include that they trained American pilots in World War II. That if they ended up on an island, like really, when was it going to happen? They could survive if they found coconuts. If they find a coconut tree. Yes, a coconut tree. Very much. So it was interesting from that point of view. Like, so how could it be so everyday and yet so important? It really blossomed. I mean, edible flowers was interesting, but we took it so much further, sort of globally, with coconut for sure. That's true. And then we finished coconut, as I mentioned earlier, during COVID. So we weren't sure where we were going to go with it because travel was kind of crazy. But then we pitched mango, and actually both coconut and mango. The publisher wasn't sure because he was used to doing milk and things that were, he didn't see them particularly as global, but they were. And so we were really emphasizing the fact that this is everywhere, more than the average British citizen looking for a book to read. So he wasn't sure, but eventually we convinced him. And both mango and coconut were things a little bit outside the scope of everyday food. So, but yet very, very amazing. And more people eat mango than eat apples. If you just look at the numbers.
Yes. I mean, even from a trade perspective, the number of mangoes, the trade value in terms of the export and import itself, mango is way bigger, higher number.
Yeah.
So, I mean, of course.
So we made the argument. Eventually, I guess we wore him down because we kept pitching one amazing fact after another about mango.
Yeah.
And so we ended up saying, yes, okay. So anyway, but that's how it happened with those two topics. Mango, we both had initial experiences that were kind of odd. We don't have any mangoes in Ohio at all.
Yeah.
The only place mangoes grow in the U.S., a little corner of California, but they aren't commercially grown, and a place called Homestead in Florida. And those are the only two places that grow mangoes. And I went and visited there, and people loved their mangoes. And then the mangoes we're getting, maybe we'll get into this later, but the mangoes in the U.S. Are not anything like your mangoes. And that
I'm sure.
They're nothing like your mangoes. And one of the things that I wanted to emphasize is that you have something that we can never have. You have something here that's such a treasure. And from the reactions I get from Indian and South Asian people, they know it. They know.
They do.
They know we don't.
I mean, we know that. I mean,
it's
even
a treasure.
anybody traveling, unless and until you maybe in Philippines or a Thailand or places like that,
or
but
Caribbean.
Anywhere else, I don't think, you'll definitely find, thanks to globalization, we definitely do find mangoes everywhere, but...
And nothing like your mangoes.
we do challenge you on the taste.
Yes, and I think that's kind of something Americans should realize, like U.S. citizens anyway, don't have access to what you got. And you can be quite proud of that.
I was very interested when you told about that in the book as well, because I mean, no offense, I'm not meaning to politicalize anything, but coming from U.S. where a lot of things are given importance, value, and everything. But when you yourself stated in the book that mango is something that you cannot replace and you cannot add value to, it's like, wow. Sounds gas. Wow, good job.
Yes, and you know it, and you appreciate it enough to come home when it's in season. I mean, there is so much in literature. And that brings me to the literature part. Do I have time to talk about that now?
Definitely.
All right. With Coconut, we didn't get involved in literature except for Moby Dick. There's a scene in Moby Dick with Coconut, or a couple scenes actually. So there's interesting things in literature. And because it's supposed to be a global kind of scene for the book, we try to include, and I'm an art historian myself, we try to include as much cultural stuff that's beyond just the taste and the economics of it. So basically with Mango, we had the wonderful Gauguin paintings. And I
of course, because I could see that in the book. The paintings you've shown in the books
Frida
from
Kahlo,
history.
right.
That's amazing.
And that's really the advantage of this particular series and the way we've taken it. I mean, every author, if you've looked at them, handles it differently. The chapter titles aren't rote. You don't always have a chapter that's got this and a chapter that's got that. And we found by the time we did second or third, well, we can do whatever we want. We can change the parameters of what we're writing to fit. But with Mango, one of the biggest discoveries was how important it is in literature, and not in U.S. literature, not British literature, not European literature, but diaspora literature. And it was absolutely mind-boggling to find that right now there's 40 books in print with Mango in the title, fiction.
Whoa, okay.
Absolutely amazing. And along those lines, there's a discussion among authors, at least there was when I wrote the book, 2010, 2013, about exoticizing and whether that is a legitimate thing for a diaspora author to do. And so at that point, Salman Rushdie, someone you all know and admire, decided to publicly say that you shouldn't be writing about mango, and mango shouldn't be in the title of your book. Ever.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure you've heard about this kind of.
I'm not.
And literally it was.
Why?
Because it's artificially exoticizing. Now, who is writing these books?
Okay.
These are mostly women.
Yeah.
And so it was a kind of a feminist slur, if you will, which is kind of interesting because he suggested you were using something just to make your book more interesting to foreigners.
Yeah.
But the argument against that, and many women made this argument, is that that's our apple. That's our everyday. That is not exotic. That defines us. Anyway, it's a very interesting thing. So that a genre called Sari, S-A-R-I, Sari mango literature developed.
Yes.
Right.
I was just reading a little bit about it when I got to know about it from your book. I didn't know about it before.
And I think it may have passed because it's no longer exotic.
Yeah.
We all have mango slushies. And
we all do.
So mango isn't automatically trigger like foreign anymore, because mango is a list of flavors that we have at every
and a very popular list amongst the flavors.
We don't have the really good ones like you have, but we have mango as a flavor. So it was interesting to find that out. And then I read Midnight's Children again, because I read it a long, long time ago, and I'm sure you've all read it. And 21 times he mentions mango.
Mango.
So is he exoticizing?
It's not.
No. Interesting.
And we're all ready to accept that book as it is.
Exactly. So it was an interesting thing to add. And I gave a paper on literature and diaspora literature and how important it was, and these are the authors I had most access to have this food memory. Food nostalgia. There's a whole genre of food nostalgia cookbooks, sort of cookbooks, mostly fiction. I mean, there's a lot of people write about food in their lives and how important it is and what it tells you about them and what they need it for. They want it so desperately. So it was a topic that I could talk about at a conference because it's literary. And you can talk about whether it's something exoticizing and is that legitimate, but it was still related to the book. So if I do some research on a sort of pathway off of the book, it gives me an opportunity to attend conferences.
That's amazing.
So it's another fun way to spend your time.
I mean, of course. I mean, on your retired time. But then again, so coming back to the same topic. So because you brought about the word nostalgia, mango is indeed something that actually bring the feeling of nostalgia back to people. Because for me, when I read your book, I mean, I don't even know if I was imagining it. Night, I'm reading the book. It's like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock at night. I started smelling mango around me. I mean, that was weird, but it really happened. But at the same time, it also took me back to a lot of childhood memories that I had. Because our summer vacations, which is our bigger vacations during our every academic break, it's always mango. Our vacation equals mango because we are running around, we are climbing one tree or the other, we are plucking the mangoes. If it's raw, we are eating it with salt or chili. If it's ripe, then we're just sitting in some corner, coming back home with mango everywhere. Dresses are all stained. So it really did bring back a lot of amazing nostalgia to me as well. So again, the question coming back to you also, how much do you think food items can communicate history, culture, or our feelings a lot more than just academic papers?
Well, I can certainly say this experience has showed me exactly that's true. But I was talking about an association that I've attended conferences for, and very formal kind of history conferences. And I remember talking to the chair, and he wanted me to do the discussion of mango and nostalgia, and then the history of mango. And it was a surprise because this conference is not usually that kind of approach. And he said, I always teach a food and history course, and it's completely filled. The students really, that's an entry point. And the people in the classrooms near me are always very suspicious because people in my classroom are tasting things and laughing and enjoying the history class. And most history classes, you're writing the notes.
I was literally tasting mango.
And he said that the other faculty were very suspicious that why should they be laughing in a class?
Kind of boring history class.
I mean, it was just such an amazing thing to say. So he said, if you can demonstrate how you can teach history in a keynote address, I gave a keynote address, how history is better taught, or at least as well taught through food substances. And of course, we're doing history. That's the emphasis. And I mentioned earlier the idea that the recipes were sort of secondary in this book, but they are historical. So they tell you about the progress of mango and its spread, and how, and you can. There's nothing you can't teach through food. I believe that nothing you can't teach through food.
No, that's
you can teach economics. You can teach art. You can teach every subject, sociology, sharing. In fact, that's another topic that I'd like to emphasize. Not only there were more than 45 to 50 books, probably still in print from the diaspora writers, Indian writers, especially women writers in the U.S. and Europe, but there was 50 some children's books about mango in print right now. And that's like, I mean, American libraries in schools, in elementary schools, little children's schools have books about mango. And like, I had never put that together. We don't grow mango. There would be, what would you do? And I learned through educational courses and research that is considered a gateway food in America, because we don't know mangoes, and we don't ever even get the good ones. But it can teach about India or South Asia without teaching chicken feed or something that kids won't eat. They will automatically like mango.
That's interesting.
So it's actually called a gateway food.
That's interesting.
And so you can teach a lot of concepts for children with mango. Sharing, waiting, patience, all waiting for the ripening. I mean, all of these concepts of that mango entails in your life that are part of that nostalgia.
That's amazing.
So this really was a wonderful thing to be able to teach.
It's interesting how mango has always, especially for us Indians, is been part of our myths also. It's part of our Ramayana. It's part of our Mahabharata. And all of these mango has been a huge part, I think. And it's been from when? It's been from the time when the Vedas were just orally communicated from one to another, orally taught from one to another. Mangoes has been a part of it.
Absolutely. In fact, I needed something to write in the when I'm signing books. And so I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it correctly, Kalidasa. The poet Kalidasa. One of his quotes that I'm using is, "Wait for the season as the mango tree waits."
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that's a good thing to write, because it's teaching patience.
It's teaching patience.
And observation and understanding of the timing and seasons and so much. So it has a lot to do with Indian literature, which of course I didn't know in any way. I knew the Mahabharata and the Ramayana because I would teach it in my classes, but its connection to mango I didn't know. And so many, many things I learned that I'm able to now use in my lectures and, share in the book.
We are proud that we have these food items in here.
Absolutely.
It was also interesting, like, I mean, we've been continuously talking about mango, coconut. In your book, you're talking about folk tales, and there are very creepy folk tales.
Some amazing ones. My sister does that section. She really likes the folk tale stuff. We divide and conquer. So we'll start out with a book, and if anyone's going to be writing with a colleague, you kind of have to lean on your best skills. So she would write the botany chapters, the biology chapters, because she knows them well. But she especially likes to do the cooking, so she'll try the recipes and do that. And then she likes the folktales. Her husband is also a writer, so he's writing all kinds of folktales too. And so documenting all the different cultures and the variety of cultures where both coconut and mango have stories to tell. And now as we're working on our next book.
Such interesting story, especially the one which you're talking about. Of course, the coconuts have two eyes and something that look like a mouth. And the story that you added in the book, where very first coconut tree actually grew out of somebody's head.
Yes.
I was like, what?
Really?
For a moment, really? Who can even build such a story? Wow, it was so interesting. I did not expect any of these things to be part of the book, because it was supposed to be a history book. But I enjoyed it.
Folklore is history. It really is. And back to what we were talking about, you can teach history with food so easily. It actually surprises me now looking back, and I had a long 30-year career, that I never really thought to cook and use food. What you do in a classroom, I guess in at least some U.S. classrooms, you might have a day where the kids bring in food from other countries, but it's so peripheral. And it could be quite integral. I mean, there's a lot of questions about that. We were thinking one of the reasons why Foodie Sisters didn't really work was there's a whole lot of issues with allergies. And so schools, you're not allowed to bring peanuts. You're not allowed to. And so probably that has changed the way even a little bit of food got used in teaching. So you have to jump through quite a lot of hoops to bring in mangoes or anything else. Because, of course, mangoes. Do you know anybody with the allergy? You can have all kinds of and that's a whole other topic.
I personally never came across it.
You're never allergic to mangoes?
No, I don't think I know. Very popularly here, we do have people with allergy to pineapples and grapes. It starts itching your throat. Even I do have that, but not for
mangoes.
No.
Or if you did, you would ignore it.
I'm not going to believe that.
I'm not going to believe that. No, I'm not allergic, no matter what.
Coming back to another entire different topic from mango itself is how we eat, feel, understand food using our senses. And mango is said to be a food that is actually enjoyed using all the senses. And not all food belong to this kind of a category. Why amazing. Is that? And is there actually any other food that is enjoyed like a mango is enjoyed?
Well, I tried to come up with something so I couldn't be called on it in the U.S. Is there anything that we love in the same way and uses everything in our nostalgia? And there really isn't, because we're so varied. So even in Europe, there's no one food you can point to like that. We like apples, but we don't love apples. Really,
I think we all eat apple in India because an apple a day keeps the doctor away. But I think for us, it's a mango or a banana because that's what's available to us. Apples are expensive.
Right, but there's nothing that comes close to using and having that sense of fullness. Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, even there's sexual references, which is interesting. And people have fun with that.
Yes, I mean, mango is in fact, the only fruit that's referred to in the Kama Sutras. Yes, of course.
And I had a very young grandchild when we were working on this, and I understand it now. Maybe you can confirm this. They use mango pits as teethers for babies here.
They do because you don't want to give anything artificial, because they do have teething toys, but then ultimately they're all either fiber or plastic or whatever you call it. They're all artificial
and you
stuff.
Don't want them to swallow a seed or something, and you cannot swallow that big old mango pit. You can't. And so I have pictures. I don't know if one got into the book, maybe, where my granddaughter is so adorable, is like sucking on mango pits and stripping down her face. So she's already learned, and little children love for things to be messy.
Oh yes.
So this image of her, I think they wouldn't let me use it in the end. They don't want to personalize it, when you're picking illustrations for something. But it was, she grew up mangoes, and my other granddaughter, has a thing. I've taught her how to make a mango lassi, and I'm sure it's not the way it would be done here, but we play around with it, a yogurt and a container of a mango pulp kind of stuff. And then she was trying some cardamom in it, some ginger. She tried all different things. And it taught her to smell them all and pick them out in the spice rack. And now, I mean, literally just 2 days ago, we made a mango lassi in her new house. And that's the thing. She says, can we make a lassi? Can we make a lassi?
That's
and it's a thing for her. And it's just, she will never forget this, I know. Because she's 10. So she's been making mango lassis with her Nana for at least 8 years. Since she was very, very little.
That's good.
So it is nostalgic, and I'm creating a memory with that food. And that's one of the other topics I'm kind of interested in. As if you ever get to the point where you've got grandchildren, and in the U.S., we tend to give them so many toys and so much stuff. But what they really want and need is experiences. And so food experiences is an easy thing to do. You can take them somewhere and have them try something or ask them to or tempt them to. And they'll learn about something new. And you can put the whole thing together with even more information. My daughter gave me a gift this year, a monthly box of snacks from a different country that gets delivered.
Interesting.
Which is very interesting. It's a company. There's a company that's got a good idea. And so you'll get a box of snacks, 8 or 10 snacks from Japan. And then there's a little information inside about Japan, and then a way for a child to put a smiley face or a frowny face on each one.
so
So this
nice.
idea of learning through food
Yeah.
and children and food, it's such an easy entry point.
I mean, that's definitely, because historically it proves it also. So interestingly, like from your book itself is where even I realized, I mean, I was not very sure about this before. Like if I take the Indian history, like let it be from the Mauryan Empire or, I mean, anywhere, any stage
Gandhi.
of history.
Gandhi loved mangoes.
Ah!
Did you get to that part?
Yeah, I did.
Yes,
I did,
it's
definitely.
fascinating because I would watch the movie on the plane. I brought it with me, or was trying to watch about his life, and he found them so towards the end of his life.
There
where
are pictures also.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a picture, right, of
Yes.
Gandhi with
giving out mangoes,
giving out
planting a mango
mangoes.
tree. But he
Yeah.
also found them towards the end of his life that it was too sensual.
Ah.
And he felt like at the end of his life, he was in that stage of his life where he
Yeah.
needed to be an ascetic
Yeah.
and give up sensual things.
Yeah.
And of course, he gave up all kinds of material things. And he kind of equated mangoes with too much pleasure. So he was gifted them all the time, apparently. I mean, I'm reading this because you would know it in your own history, that he would regift the mangoes.
Of course. I mean, even going way before, like let's say a ruler like Akbar.
Oh,
so these were people who, in their political decision, in their economical decision, mango played a huge part. I mean, honestly, I never knew about this. I mean, I don't think I
was
ever looked at
fascinating.
it from that perspective that mango could have been part of our. A big part of our history.
Yes,
I never
absolutely.
knew.
You can teach it completely. Another topic I'm researching, I've got a couple things I'm trying in case we don't get to know this Lotus book. I'm looking at historically at food gifting. And mango is a whole chapter. Coconut, all the things are about things being put on altars and gifted to the gods. But the hostess gift that you take to your friend. Every kind of food gifting. As a whole topic, and I've done some papers on that. One of the most recent papers I did is on mooncakes, the Chinese mooncakes, which are gifted to business associates now, but they used to be a family thing. And then a concept in Japan called omiyagi. And omiyagi is gifting, and that is the gifting of travel. When you travel, you must bring something back. And these are institutionalized in their cultures. But they reveal about the culture itself. So in the paper I was giving, I'm emphasizing the way that you use a mooncake as a gift is to show off. So you buy a fancy box, and an elaborate kind of thing. You might even put caviar in the box. I mean, it's a way of showing wealth. And the use of that gift is to demonstrate your wealth. Because wealth and fertility and happiness, longevity, those are important in Chinese culture, right? Japanese culture does not show off. Omiyagi, you never would give too big of a gift to embarrass.
It's too more personalized.
But it's important not to embarrass or hurt someone's feelings or present something that would embarrass. So they reveal the culture. How are Japanese and Chinese people different? They have different things that are important to them. So again, food can teach about an entire culture.
Interesting. So what is the most gifted food item?
Well, I haven't thought about most gifted because it's so linked to each culture. I don't know, but maybe I could start with that on chapter 1. So I've got fake food to work on.
Definitely.
And I've got food gifting to work on. And then we're hoping we can somehow convince a publisher to do a Lotus book for us.
Definitely.
It would
Publishers,
be
please.
so beautiful.
Fake food will be such an interesting
It would be fascinating.
topic.
But again, it would be a little hard sell.
Because I mean, culturally, in
If you don't
India, fake food
immediately-
is not really like something that we would like technically connect with much.
But you might if you started looking at some of the things I photographed and taped.
Photographs, yes, and people who travel a lot, yes, because in a lot of other countries, a display outside
Would you
is
ever
always
put,
fake food.
like in the 50s, 1950s, wax fruit on my dining room table for 10 years? Would you ever
we used to have the fruit baskets.
Yes,
the plastic
but it was
fruit
plastic
baskets.
fruit.
Yeah,
You do. Did you really?
We do.
So why?
But it's not there much now anymore.
No,
it used to
but
be
it's back in fashion with mid-century modern.
Yeah, for us, it's like, I think during my childhood, so maybe like in the 90s, most of the households had a basket on the dining table or somewhere, and there's a plastic fruit basket. But we don't buy that anymore.
No, but why?
I don't know.
That's what the mystery of it. My mother had this fruit that covered with dust. We should never clean plastic fruit. So there's that kind of fruit. So the idea of fake fruit, I could convince you, if you were the publisher, that it would be fascinating. Architecturally, they're called festoons.
Yeah.
So on old British buildings, I don't know what era most of Delhi buildings are, but there may be some with carved garlands.
Yeah.
And that is evolved.
Like the gondolas, yeah.
Yeah. And they're beautiful fruit, mostly fruit, but there's all kinds of carved foods on buildings.
Yeah.
So architecturally, it's fascinating.
Yeah. Architecturally also, yes. Bananas is a huge part of architecture.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even in the South. I mean, yes.
But I'm interested in you actually having that plastic fruit because I really didn't know that. It's definitely something that was in American 50s because I grew up with it.
Yeah.
And now it's back in fashion because do you have mid-century modern as a
mid-century modern, yes, in everything, modern. In your decor, in your dressing, your
and
fashion.
So now those vintage wax fruits or plastic fruits are collectible.
Oh,
so if you go,
I wish we never threw it away.
I know you can make some money on that. It's so funny. Everything goes around, comes around.
It does.
More like Asian culture than American.
And everything.
One of the things that I teach is the way we perceive of history. And in a front page of every Western history book is what's on the inside cover. It's a timeline.
Yeah.
And we see history as like here. And of course, we're here now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a way of seeing.
Yeah.
And in Asian history is cyclical.
It's all a circle.
And seasonal and repeating and following nature. So there's a lot of things you can learn about food through that cyclical method. It's not important on a timeline the same way.
No, definitely. But this has been such an interesting conversation with somebody who wrote history books in a very interesting way. But Connie, it has been an amazing, fun experience talking to you.
So much fun for me.
But I do have a very last question to you. And this is also something that I really would want you to address the audience directly. Because I'm so inspired, like just from your energy, your aura, it's so inspiring to know that whatever you've doing today with these, and you're traveling, teaching about your art history, the food related paperwork, the academic work that you're doing, it all started post 60.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
It's literally later on.
Later.
So how did you do that, and how has it been? And I really want you to give a message to people who has retired and who think that, okay, I'm done. I'm going to sit in a corner right now. But you're the proof. You're the living proof of something else entirely altogether.
Absolutely.
What do you have to say about this?
It's one of the things when I'm lecturing on cruise ships, which is so much fun, that you really need to be still searching. And there is no end to the searching. And if you can find a partner, so those two things, find something that you really love and dig into it. Like nobody can stop you. And the idea that you might write a book with it, maybe you will, maybe you won't. But I wasn't in the situation of my academic writing where I would say that I'm writing a book. But now, when I say I'm writing a book, whether it's on mango or coconut or any other topic that I'm picking, I think it makes you more interesting. And I think as you retire, you can tempted to become a little less interesting because you're not participating. And the other topic I would say, two things I would say. Don't stop with the idea of something you can contribute. And work with your family or your siblings or a colleague. That is such a lot of pleasure for me. And we both really got so much out of the experiences that I would say those are two things. Work with someone because you'll have an experience that you have to keep following up, interviewing, a million things you could do. And then find a topic that you really like. That's one of the problems I think in academia. By the time you're writing a dissertation, you don't like it anymore.
Or too much of work.
Yes, or you're writing it for your professor. This you can write for yourself. Completely for yourself. So that's my message to you.
Thank you so much. It was such a fun conversation. Thank you so much for taking out the time in between your very busy schedule of very few days
we're going down
India.
the Ganges River.
Yes. So thank you so much for this conversation. And to everybody who's watching, this is an amazing series, the edible series, 100+ books. So pick out the fruit or the food item that you actually enjoy, and these two I've already read and I'm enjoyed it to the core because a lot of information that I had. And if you enjoyed this conversation, do pass along the link of the episode to a friend, somebody who loves food, who's just a reader, or somebody who just wants to explore something entirely new. So we'll be back with another episode. Thanks you once again,
thank you
for the
I
conversation.
so appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. Have a good day, and we'll be back with another episode. The next show by Naghma.